Hey friends, it's Kari from the Alfred Homestead, and today we are incubating chicken eggs. This is the third time that we will be incubating some eggs. We bought this incubator almost a year ago now, so we've only used it a couple of times. The first time was very successful. We had chicken eggs from all over, just from people who were willing to give us some of their barnyard eggs and just a variety of their own different chicken eggs. And now we're going to try our own eggs. Currently, we have about 35 chickens. However, we've lost a few from predators, and we really eat a lot more eggs than just the 10 or 12 that we get on a daily basis. So we're going to go ahead and get started on a new batch. So this is a 24 egg incubator. That's what seems worth it for us. If you're going to go ahead with the process, you might as well do as many as you can do. So we already hand washed this once we were done using it the last time, and now we're just going to spray it down with a solution of 50-50 vinegar to water. I have read that you can use, like rubbing alcohol or even like diluted bleach, but those, in my opinion, are way too harsh to use. So we opt for just some vinegar and some water, and we're just going to wipe everything down really well. You want to make sure everything is nice and clean, the debris is gone, dust is gone. You just want to get everything as nice as squeaky clean as possible. And these are the eggs that we've collected over the course of 2 or 3 days. Now, if you've never incubated eggs before, you want to generally have really, really fresh eggs that have not been sitting around for like a week. They're definitely not going to have as much success hatching if you wait around to go ahead and put them in the incubator. So these are only about 3 days old, and you want them tilted like this. I've just got them shoved in the corner on my hutch here, but every day you want to lean them one way or the other. Okay, so the day before you want to incubate your eggs, you want to go ahead and get this thing started. We want to go ahead and have it running and warming up for 24 hours, not only so that vinegar solution can evaporate fully, but also so that you can bring it up to temperature. And generally speaking, that's somewhere around 100 degrees. We're going to keep it at 99.7 because that's what the instructions told us to do for this model. So it's the next day, and it has been at 99.7. It's in a room, an area that's not going to fluctuate too much with the temperature. It's not right next to a vent or a window or anything like that that's going to cause fluctuations in the temperature. So just a brief look at some of the eggs that we've collected over the last couple of days. We try and collect the nicest looking ones. Sometimes it's hard to get, you don't really want to get super dirty ones that have been on the ground in the mud if you can help it. You don't want to get ones that are too small, like they've just gone into laying. So anyways, we've got 2 dozen here that we're going to go ahead and put in the incubator. Now you'll notice when I take this top off, that the temperature is going to drop, and that's okay. It will come back up to temperature relatively quickly. You just don't want to sit around for an hour putting these eggs in. So there's the little egg basket that goes into this container, and it keeps it off of the ground. So I'm putting all the eggs in here pointy side down, and every day we're going to adjust these eggs. So we're going to mimic a chicken laying on her egg, right? So they don't just sit still. We have to adjust their position so that they're not always laying on the same side. So generally speaking, you want to do that every day, if not multiple times a day. So I'm going to go ahead and pop all of this in there, and then to keep the humidity level at about 50%, we're going to add some warm water. So warm water just helps to ensure that your incubator doesn't have to work too hard to bring it back up to temperature. It's not a super big deal, but you do definitely want to maintain the humidity levels. So not only are we going to be adjusting and moving these eggs every single day, but we're also going to be checking the water level in this as well. As soon as you see it at about halfway full or half empty, however you want to look at it, then we need to add more water. So I'm just popping in some water here. There's those two little cavities down at the bottom where you can see the water coming out. That generally tells you what level your water is at. So I'm just being careful not to get the eggs all wet. And I can see from the bottom gauge that there's enough water in there. All right, so we're gonna go ahead and pop the top back onto this incubator to let it sit for about 21 days. That's about how long chicken eggs take to incubate, and then they go into lockdown mode. I will get into that into part 2 of this segment, but this is part 1, so stay tuned for the next video where I will show how we move the eggs and once we put them on lockdown, and of course what we do once we start seeing them hatch. All right, you guys, I hope you enjoyed that video. Stay tuned for part 2.